Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back, and today we're going to be discussing Helium. And actually Helium has had a incredible year. What the hell? It was, well, so it was year today it was like at $7, now it's 8.3, but since last year it's had like a huge huge run up. And all time it's up almost 3,000%. It's from the all-time low, it's up 3,000%. It had a huge run-up though. All-time high, it's minus 85%. But damn, I did not expect this. Volume is in 111, so not that bad. So you're gonna supply 160 million. And yeah, so what is Helium? I have a video that I wanted to show you. It's here from CoinMarketCap. It's like let's learn about Helium and the learn page. So let's see what it is.
To answer that, let's first talk about IoT, or the Internet of Things. It is expected that in the next 5 years, 75 billion devices, or things, will need some way in which to wirelessly connect to the Internet. Right now, connecting these things to the Internet is tricky. It's either too expensive to afford cellular data plans or too power prohibitive. What we need is a new network, one where we can change the rules. That's where Helium comes in. Helium's long-range wireless technology and secure blockchain can build the ultimate network. And the best part is, actually, it's built and owned by you.
And let's see the second. So that's kind of what Helium is. Let's see.
How do I build the network? Building the people's network is easy. Simply get a Helium hotspot or build your own using open source software and off-the-shelf hardware. Hotspots supply a low bandwidth internet connection over miles of range to thousands of devices using a wireless technology called LongFi. In exchange for building the network and providing connectivity as a service, Hotspots mine HNT, a new cryptocurrency on the Helium blockchain. Unlike other networks, the People's Network is paving the way to build wireless networks of the future by putting ownership in your hands, while improving coverage and affordability for a new class of devices.
And then the third video.
Similar to other sharing economies such as Airbnb, the Helium blockchain enables a two-sided market and flips the traditional telecom model on its head. On the supply side, hotspot owners are incentivized to deploy a global wireless network, the People's Network, and provide connectivity in exchange for earning HNT. On the demand side, businesses and developers benefit from the People's Network with affordable and ubiquitous connectivity for their IoT devices. From scooter and pet tracking to environmental sensing and crucial healthcare monitoring solutions, a new class of devices finally have a way to connect over long ranges. Batteries can last years between charges, and costs are a magnitude cheaper than other cellular alternatives. Thanks to this unique incentive model, the People's Network is the wireless network that we've all been waiting decades for.
And the last video. I don't know why they didn't just put all these together, but whatever.
The People's Network uses two units of exchange: HNT, a new cryptocurrency, and data credits. Hotspots earn HNT by transferring data from nearby devices. The more data transferred, the larger the reward. Hotspots also earn HNT by simply building the network and participating in proof of coverage. Proof of coverage, POC, is a novel work algorithm that autonomously verifies all hotspots are real and located where they say they are. In order to send data over the network, devices must use data credits. Fixed in value, data credits are created by burning HNT, reducing the total supply to achieve a burn and mint equilibrium.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Remember data credits, okay? So let's go here. The last thing I want to talk about here is the founders. So they have three founders: Amir Halim, Sean Fanning, and Sean Carey. Started a company in 2013 actually, but didn't go like the mainnet. They didn't go public until 2019. So they've been around for a while now. Oh, and the last thing, how many coins are in circulation? So approximately mining periods of 30 to 60 minutes. Unlocks rewards which are distributed according to a changing growth plan. So there was 48 million in circulation in 2020. Now is 160 million. So take that into account, because there is inflation, obviously. So obviously you got to take all these things into account. So there's kind of their website. They have right now 1 million total hotspots, which it's it's pretty good. So usually I go over the fundamentals like later in the video, but I want to go over it now. I think is more important, and we just talked about the data. So data transactions right now, it's 62, 65, 70. So pretty good, but the gas consumed is actually quite low. You can see here, the most I got this year was what, $800. Yesterday was 257. Not that many, daily active addresses around 20 to 30. So again, not that much. And if you go here on the fees, they don't collect that much in fees, and the revenue is really subpar. $4,000, $6,000 around there. So they have a lot, they have 1 million hotspots and that low in revenue. Something doesn't really add up. And I have a video here from Coffeezilla that kind of explains it. This was 2 years ago, so please take that into account. I just kind of wanted to show you this video.
Profits. So in an area like this, it really isn't profitable. This made it so that more and more people were competing for increasingly smaller shares of profit as the Helium network exploded. And that might have been okay if on the demand side, Helium had been seeing increasing adoption, selling the actual product of connecting the Internet of Things. But unfortunately, that's not what was happening. By looking at the data that the Helium network themselves provide, we see absolutely abysmal rates of adoption. Remember that in 2021, the number of hotspots went absolutely parabolic, as you can see here. And one would hope that usage would follow. But looking at the data credits used, we see a different story. Now, I'm going to have to explain what this chart means, but basically, this is the entire revenue of the network, the data credit usage. But not every part of this chart represents actual demand for Helium, because there are several ways you would use data credits in Helium. For example, it costs $10 in data credits, for example, just to set up one of these mining hotspots. But that isn't actually someone connecting an Internet of Things device. And the same is true if you want to change the location of this device. It costs another $10. You can also be charged fees for using the network, and there are all these proofs about if your hotspot is where you say it is, but none of this is actually the system doing what it's designed to do, which is connect these devices. Instead, that category of data credit usage belongs to the data transfer category. This you can see in yellow. And if we take a close look at this chart again, you can hardly see the actual usage of the network in comparison with all the insane amounts of data credits burned for everything else. This means a few things. Actual demand for this network is almost non-existent. Literally in June of this year, it was reported that the actual demand revenue for Helium was only $6,500. This was reported by the Generalist, and it's hardly enough money to justify a $1 billion valuation. Now, the CEO of Helium, Amir Halim, responded to these accusations, arguing that while the numbers are true, they weren't fair because the total revenue of the network is insanely high, $54 million over its lifetime. But I think he's confusing things here because we all know that the Helium network
So that revenue, it's from obviously all the miners being sold. So take it as what it is. We see the numbers here, and even here too. Like the number is increasing. Don't get me wrong. Even from this year, from April to now, it looks like the consumption is there, but it's still not where I think it needs to be. So yeah, let's keep on going. So after this, they kind of went into like 5G, and another use case for them is like 5G, and also these like products that I truly have never ever seen anyone use these. If you have, let me know. But they have all these products. I saw this one. Well, there was a weather data one that we saw the other day, right? And hotspots here. This one is to like track your location, car health, and whatnot. So they have all these products, but who is using them? And they kind of want to like go over be in like cities, logistics, and like supply chain, agriculture, and whatnot. But let's see. So this is kind of like their hotspot. This is what Coffeezilla was talking about. Wherever there's miners, and we'll see how much miners cost now, but wherever it's like congested like this, people are just like fighting for it. If you were early on Helium, you probably made a big bank, but now in some areas it could be profitable. I just personally wouldn't do it. But let's talk about the rates or how much they charge. So I found this one on the map, and the pricing is here. So community is free, starter $2, $4 for the pro, and 20 for the business. And this is if you want to pay annually or monthly. So the costs are definitely cheap. The costs are cheap, and this is if you want to use it. So like mass coverage, like range, really affordable. So they want to sell you like pieces of data at a really low cost, and small pieces of data, right? So the thing is that a lot of people have to kind of like be in the service to justify the kind of revenue and just buying these products and like being in part of the ecosystem. So here is their Explorer page, network usage. You can see is not really that much to justify for obviously the market cap. And then I thought this was pretty cool though. DePIN is one of the big topics right now, and Helium I think it's the biggest DePIN token right now. But there's other DePIN tokens here that you guys definitely will take a look at. I haven't seen any of these, but I think it's definitely worth looking into. So let's go over. Where was it? The 5G. So let's just pick the first one. I'm not, I'm trying to allow. So Helium base station in partnership with Freedom Fight and Bobcat. If you want to buy one of these for the cheap price of $5,749.99, then by all means go ahead. But I don't know, it just seems kind of hefty for not that many people using it. Don't get me wrong though, their competitors are like big companies like Sprint or AT&T and whatnot. So I'm all for, competition in that space. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's really, 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 expensive, like the market cap right now for the amount of people using the network. Not saying it can't change. And obviously, when you're in crypto, you kind of want to look at the next big thing and, what's going to be out there. So don't get me wrong. And I remember one of my friends, he had a couple of Helium miners. He had like 4 or 5. And it took a while to get these miners. So I don't know what the wait time is for them now. But I guess they're partnered up with a lot of people. I forgot to kind of show you. But it's used by, Airly, I kind of know. I don't know all of them, but they are being used. And recently they moved to Solana, so that might be cheaper. I forgot to mention this too. So a new era for Helium begins with the upgrade to Solana blockchain. After over a year of planning and development, Helium has successfully migrated to Solana, ushering in a new phase of reliability and scalability for decentralized wireless networks. So if you believe in Solana and you believe in DePIN, I think Helium is gonna be one of those like big players. Not because it's being adopted or being used, although we could see more adoption. Don't get me wrong. For right now, I just don't see it. As for the price, the chart is looking up. Like look at this chart since last year. Like it looks like it's about to explode. Like they probably are planning something or someone knows something, because this doesn't make sense, it does make sense if there was widespread of adoption, but from the numbers I just don't see it. So they probably are planning something and haven't told us. But will it get back to the 4 billion market cap? I don't know. There's inflation obviously, so the more people come into the network and the more people buying miners and generating that revenue, like the CEO said that they were making 50 million in a year. And if you're making 50 million a year, a $1 billion market cap for the potential growth that you have it's amazing. Some companies, don't even make that. So I don't know. Just for the heck of it, I'll say it'll go back to the 1.5, 1.6, probably even more. Just because if Solana goes up and DePIN narrative comes on, people are gonna immediately go into Helium. So how much was it when it was this? Like $9, $10? I'll probably go to $10. I think it's definitely worth being in the top 50. It's 52 right now. Obviously not all these coins are going to be in the top 50, but I definitely do think if adoption is there, then yeah. But yeah, kind of a long video. Well, not really, 18 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.